Hi, my name is Michael Rhodes, and today I'm talking about anger. And this is probably our biggest killer. Our anger not only kills other people, it kills ourselves. Anger is metaphysical. You can't see it. You can see somebody expressing it, but you don't see it. You have no idea of the danger and the damage it is doing to your body. So to give you an idea, I've watched people be angry on a metaphysical level. And your anger creates a little cloud, like a thunder cloud, but it's purely metaphysical, you can't see it, and it's black. And it has a terrible energy. It is really not like a natural thunder cloud in nature. This is your creation, and it's come from a place of malignance and malevolence, and it is not good. And as you get angrier and angrier, like lightning strikes come out of that, and they are a red of anger chaos, and they strike you in the heart. And these lightning strikes hit you in the heart. From the heart, they radiate out through your body, and anywhere in your body that has a weakness, a genetic weakness, or no genetic weakness, but you criticize it, that part is now under threat. So anger is a direct attack on yourself. Anger does not know separation. You cannot be angry alone. I hope you're listening. You cannot be angry alone. When you get angry, you are generating now an energy field. There is nothing outside self. Remember that? Nothing outside self. So when you get angry, your anger connects with every angry person on this planet, because there is only one human field of energy. It is all one. And so now you are angry, very angry, and you've connected with every very angry person on this planet. And if you go into the prison systems and on death row, you're going to find some seriously angry people. There is no such thing as separation and isolation. It is a complete physical thing only. And we are not physical beings. And so when you get angry, you probably connect with the anger of 3, 4 or 5 billion people. Because there are masses of people angry the whole time. By far the majority of humanity is angry at any one time. And you connect with it. And there are many men, I don't know about women, in prison whose basic story was, well, when I came home, my wife was in bed with the man next door and I killed them. And I don't remember that. I just don't remember it. I opened the door and there they were and everything went black and I don't remember what happened. But it seems like I killed them. That doesn't work as an excuse. It doesn't work at all. You'll still go to prison. You killed them. What happened? Why is it there are so many blackouts that men and women in their worst moment, when something violent happened, they do not recall it? We say it's our emotions protecting us. That's true to a degree, but it's also your emotions connected with the emotion of anger, which is so malevolent, so malignant, that it was completely overwhelmed. And that person performed an act they would never normally do, and 2 people ended up dead because they were overwhelmed by the anger of that moment of billions of people joining with them. We're not designed for that sort of anger. Humans, imagine if we did this with love. Imagine if we all had love for ourselves and all our love came together. We would move up through dimensions, literally through dimensions. But what we have is this anger. And so it doesn't matter who you're angry at, it always destroys and demolishes its own source. And anger is a very, very interesting one. Several people have said to me, one person told me my my uncle is an angry man, and anybody who doesn't agree with him, he just calls them a pain in the ass. And in his 50s, he died of cancer of the anus. Another one was talking about her father, and everybody was a pain in the neck. He died of cancer of the throat. And so we create targets. And anger is a terrible way to create a target. There is nobody else out there if you're angry at them. And the amazing thing is, most people are angry at themselves. I can understand self-regret. I can even understand guilt. I never did guilt very much. I seem to miss out on that one. But regret, yes, I have my regrets. I've let them all go because it is as it is. It was as it was. There's nothing I can do about that, so I let them go. But anger, so many people are angry at themselves. And I've done a fair bit of investigation on this. You know, I've talked to people at my various events for the last 30 years, and we've discussed their anger, and some of them rage. Now, I was one of those. I was born in a rage. Maybe it was because I was a forceps delivery, but I was born in a rage. And my rage is far worse than anger. Anger is hot, but rage is rather like a glacier. It's there, it just doesn't go away, and it moves slowly, but when it moves, you're lost. There's nothing you can do about it. Anger is hot and volatile. Rage is deeper, lasts a long time. And I had this rage through my childhood. And when I went to school, my rage was there. And when I got in school fights, I remember clearly nearly killing a boy. I slammed his head onto a brick, deliberately, because the rage had overtaken me. There was no thoughts of what might happen. It split his skull open. There was blood everywhere. Luckily, he didn't die. I got thrashed for that in front of the whole school, publicly thrashed, because it was a private school, and that was the way they dealt with it. That stoked my rage, and so my rage continued. There came a time when I took up judo, and my rage every now and again would come out. And then I met a man who came and became our new instructor, and instantly I recognized he carried this rage, and it never left him. And one day he broke a top off a bottle and said, "I'll show you some new tricks." And I turned round and walked out, because I knew that one of us would end up dead, because he was as imbalanced as I was. He was definitely a dangerous man. He had what's the thing where you wither away? Anyway, he had had a withering, I can't think of the name of that. But anyway, it had mentally damaged him as his limbs withered. And he was a very, very dangerous man. And so there came a time when I was suddenly in a situation where I was seconds of killing a man. Seconds. And something happened in that moment where every cell in my body exploded into light. That changed my whole life, that moment. I always put it down to my guardian angel. I was wrong. At the moment of enlightenment, I went down my timeline and changed the past. We can do that, because all time occupies the same moment. And I made it that moment that I didn't kill him. I allowed 19-year-old Michael to know what 49-year-old Michael was feeling in that moment. And that's another story entirely. But what I'm saying is, that moment ended my rage. It finished. It was gone. The moment I experienced love, I couldn't hold the love through that day. I had a long journey to go before I'd ever come back to it. But that moment changed my life, and all the rage was gone. And only when it was gone did I realize how it had affected me, how it had set me on a path of aggression and articulation and arrogance. And isn't it wonderful how life teaches you? I had a very well-educated father and brother who was 3 years older than me, and they were both very articulate. and they would get involved in arguments, and I would join in as a boy. And from them I learned articulation. I learned to be fast, and by the time I was 15 I could out-argue them both. I could put them in corners with words. And you know what, eventually I realised it was all a defence system, all based in fear, all based in anger. Anger was behind it all. And when I started public speaking, I was angry. Softly, softly doesn't catch a monkey, I was taught, and so there was this anger. And that anger would not ever have allowed me to walk the path that I've finally found and walk. And although there is no path, we'll use that word because it draws the right image in the mind. And so anger is very, very, very dangerous. Anger connects you with anger. Getting angry attracts into your life more for you to be angry about. And if somebody comes to you and is outright rude to you, and you feel your anger rising, the first question is, why did I bring this person into my life at this moment? And the answer becomes obvious. I brought this person into my life at this moment because I need to see how I would react or respond. And I've reacted, so I have anger within me. And then if you have a consciousness that is making inquiry into your anger, and then you realize that you will be able to deal with it. I'd like to put a question to you. Nobody's ever been able to answer this question. What can make you angry where you have no attachment to an outcome or belief or an opinion? In other words, you have no attachment. What can make you angry where you have no attachments? And nobody's ever been able to come up with anything because you can't. If you have an attachment to anything, of somebody being civil, for example, somebody being nice, for example, anything like that, or you're pleasant to them and they're unpleasant to you, and you have an attachment that they should treat you the way you're treating them, as soon as you have an attachment, you will have the anger. So anger is not your problem. Attachment is the problem. An emotional attachment that has a negative reaction called anger. It's a negative reaction to an unmet attachment. We have these attachments, we don't recognize them, we don't accept them because we're in the moment, we're not sure what's going on, we lose the plot, and up comes anger. And today, people are so angry and they don't know what they're angry about. Anyone you're angry at is you. You're always the recipient of your own anger. No matter where you put it, it makes no difference. It all comes back to your anger is attacking you. So I would offer a much better idea. I would say, when you feel anger rising, stop. If you need to, count to 10. Let those seconds go past. And in those seconds, just pause, readdress the situation, and then, if you can do it, I would recommend that you consciously choose love.